Hello, 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 hello. Greetings, 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 greetings. Uh, greetings, greetings. Um, there is quite amazing that how British House of Commons is commonly disconnected of the factual information, what is happening in the people of Southern Cameroon, and it is quite amazing. I mean, you can imagine that the British government is asking La République du Cameroon to call a broad-based debate. It seems they are absolutely ignorance of what is La République du Cameroon. I am sure I will expect that the previous generation were more smarter than the current generation of the British government. I mean, you are aware or you saw the video from the House of Commons, and they are still asking La République for a broad-based discussion about the people of Southern Cameroon when there are genocide going on in the Southern Cameroon. Does the British ambassador relate to the House of Commons exactly what is happening in the people of Southern Cameroon? I am sure the Foreign Secretary or for African Affairs should be able to brief the Foreign Commonwealth, the British Common Office, about exactly the nature in which the people of Southern Cameroon are going through genocide, murdering. At least the British ambassador should be able to present to the House of a Common exactly factual information. But when I see the House of Lord or the House of Common debrief that the La Republique should call a broad-based discussion with the people of Southern Cameroon, without knowledge that at least about 200,000 citizens of the people of Southern Cameroon are languishing in Nigeria, and that the entire cabinet of the people of Southern Cameroon are languishing in La Republique. And they have been in almost 9 or 10 months in La Republique jailhouse. And yet, the House of Commons is asking La Republique a broad based discussion about the people of Southern Cameroon. Instead of the House of Commons condemn La Republique, that immediately release this cabinet that was adopted from Nigeria and allow them without undisputed immediately home. I will expect the House of Commons to express their deep condemnation of La Republique. Instead, they're asking La Republique a broad-based discussion as though Britain is adamantly not aware exactly what is happening in the people of Southern Cameroon. I am sure that the British policy or the British current generation is absolutely absent-minded, and they can focus and reason like the previous generation. I could imagine that the British House of Commons will be more senseless and speak out La Republique condemning the atrocity that is currently going on in the people of Southern Cameroon. The people, imagine the people living in the forest. Imagine mother and children delivering their children in the midst of the forest. And yet, British is asking for a broad-based discussion. It is quite amazing. I mean, it is terrifying, to be honest. It is absolutely terrifying. I will expect the United States because United States has been more vigorously condemning the action more than the British government that they owe an allegiance of the people of Southern Cameroon. The British government is absolutely aware that the atrocity that the people of Southern Cameroon under La République is the complicity of the British Crown that has made the people of Southern Cameroon that are going through this chaotic scene. And yet, the British Crown trusts the neighboring country, La République, which is absolutely a French colony that fundamentally lack the factual rule of law and the fundamental basic education that in alliance with the Anglophone system. The entire justice of La Republic is a totally a chaotic and a it's absolutely terrifying that I can imagine that the United States is more forceful speaking about the people of Southern Cameroon, whereas the British government, with the British House of Law, the Parliament, absolutely is not aware of the factual. Instead of condemning La Republic and ask them to immediately release the cabinet of the people of Southern Cameroon. Imagine that in the Enugu House of Assembly, in Nigeria, when the British administrator was residing, Nigerian government has never, in any circumstances, arrested and adopted the people of Southern Cameroon. There were never a citizen of Southern Cameroon killed by the Nigerian Enugu House of Assembly or ordered by the Nigerian government that the people of Southern Cameroon be arrested or be adopted. Yet we have at least all our people in our soil, all our people in our land are being adopted by this terrorist government of La République. The British is asking as though they are not even aware there's something fundamentally wrong with the British government. There is something that is fundamentally wrong with the British government. I am sure the current generation is totally absent-minded and not aware of reality. And that is why they sit in the British Parliament instead of telling La République that I have an obligation over my people. Our people are requesting, and we expect the British government, the British Foreign Secretary, the British Parliament, the British House of Lords, and to be more forceful, and yet they are asking La République as though they simply mentally incoherent, not aware of exactly what is going on. And that is why it is in line with the policy that a British ambassador in the neighboring country were busy signing an oil deal, ignore the fundamental principles of what was actually. Oh, sure. I mean, it is. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. I mean, I don't know how. What reflection does the British Crown has? I mean, it is quite. Is I will expect the British Commonwealth of Office to be more forceful, despite the fact that I don't even know why. I don't even know why um, La Republique is still in the Commonwealth office, is still member of the Commonwealth office. La Republique should have been immediately suspended from the British Commonwealth office because we are the people that La Republique was being admitted. And if we are demanding that we will no longer be part of the system, it is obligation that La Republique be immediately terminated from the House of Commons because we are the linkage that link La Republic with the House of Commons. And if we are demanding that we will no longer be part of that system, immediately that relationship should have been terminated straight and right away. But I can imagine that because they're still planning for the oil deal, British still planning for the oil deal, British still planning for the gas deal, British still planning for the destruction of our land, and because French is more easier to deal with. And that is why you can imagine that the Commonwealth had a meeting and discussed absolute news. It is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. British, the relationship that attaches the people of Southern Cameroon to the Commonwealth office is associated with the people of Southern Cameroon. But the people of Southern Cameroon has denounced the relationship, and it is an obligation that British immediately suspend La Republique from the House of Commons immediately. But however, it doesn't make sense. They asking for a broad-based discussion as though they are not aware of the French policy. It is, it is absolutely terrifying. It is absolutely disgusting. I don't know how you all live in England. I don't know whether the British thinker for the current century is absolutely disgusting. The current British thinker is absolutely amazing, disgusting. I can't imagine the British Parliament or the House of Lords is telling La Republique to call a broad-based discussion. How many times have they been asking La Republique to call for a broad-based discussion? How many? The entire world community, United States State Department, U.S. Department of Defense, United States Department of Defense has suspended his military dealing with La Republique du Cameroon. In United States is more forthcoming denouncing La Republique more than the British Crown ever does. And yet we have people living in the forest. We have our mothers and children living in a terrifying moment. And that we have our people that is absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting with the British Crown. They should have even stand up and say, no, I am sending my Marine, British Marine, to protect the citizens because it is an obligation that the British must support its territorial integrity. Our people have made enormous call, and it is not that we don't have evidence. Our people are constantly murdered each day by the terrorist government of La Republique. The entire village has been burned down. The entire community are living under infested mosquitoes because we have a terrorist government of La Republique that is destroying our belongings. And yet, British is asking a broad-based discussion from the terrorist government as though they are not aware of factual information, because they are expecting to sign a gas deal. They are expecting to sign an oil deal. And the people that it belongs to has basically fundamentally absent from the total deal. And yet, this is a terrifying moment that one will never feel frustrated. Why can't our people be able to manage themselves? Why must La Republique determine what they should do and what they shouldn't? If our people are here in the United States, they are in Britain, they're in every office in the United States and in Great Britain, Germany, they are working the highest level, they are doing every stuff. Why can't they not manage their own country? Why should they depend on Francophone to tell them what they should and shouldn't do? Why? Is not something wrong in this picture? Is something absolutely wrong in this picture? Our people deserve something better. Our people deserve freedom. Our people deserve to be able to manage themselves without the influence of a neighboring country like Republic du Cameroon. Our people are better off to live by themselves, to manage their property, to deal with their own problem, than to have a neighboring country like Republic in the influence of what we should and we shouldn't do. We have well-educated, we have well-brilliant lawyers, they understand the value of our people. Our education is in totally shabby way. Our education system is totally a mess. The Francophone has the worst education system. But they are here to detect what kind of education our brothers and our children, our relatives, our distant uncles should be able to have. And it's okay because the British is interested on the gas exploration. The British is interested on the gas exploration. That is what they care more about, because they want our gas. And that is why, instead of the ongoing crisis, the British ambassador in the neighboring country, La Republique, is giving the benefit of gas deal that will benefit about how many millions of people. Whether it didn't occur to the British ambassador that at least almost 200,000 people are in the forest. Over 200,000 are in Nigeria. It didn't occur to the British camp or the British ambassador or the British foreign common office to think about this. What is wrong with this British? What is wrong? There's something absolutely wrong with British. There's something absolutely wrong. It is up an obligation condemning the Biya regime and stand with the people. Imagine that I have my parents. As soon as there's a problem, I will stand with my parents because they are why I am. And therefore, I need to first of all take them first to find out what is the enemy. But British choose the enemy over the people of Southern Cameroon. British choose the enemy over the people of Southern Cameroon. What is wrong in this picture? There is something that is absolutely wrong in this picture. Why is British so adamantly not aware of reality? Rather than follow the reality, I think the current Prime Minister of Britain is absolutely I don't know how I can describe it. Because when I look at the United States stood and condemned them and tell what they need to be done. But who should be more forcefully? The British should have been more forcefully condemning the action, taking drastic action, suspending La Republic, giving details. Imagine the German are the first to suspend La Republic. The German are the first to suspend La Republic. Even the military provide military assistance. German is more forceful. And yet British is still asking La Republic that they should. They should. British is asking La Republic to call a broad-based discussion, as though they are not aware of what is going on. So therefore, our people of Southern Cameroon, we are at war. The enemy is at war. The enemy is using us, and that this is a moment that we need to be more cautious. We need to inflict the more harm to the La Republic, because we will no longer tolerate this any longer. We will no longer tolerate this any longer. Our people deserve their own self-determination and decide their future destination. Our children's education depends on the vision we have. It's not going to be the vision of La Republic. You all listen to the stupid, oversized communication minister. He is absolutely ignorant. He's an idiot. When you imagine a communication minister compare the people of Southern Cameroon with his own native tribe, what an imagination. It's comparing the people of Southern Cameroon with his own native tribe. That's the communication minister of La Republic. As though he is not, of course, those are the Francophone half education system. Those are the Francophone half education system. They lack factual information. Fellow brothers, if anyone stands in front of you and call you secessionist, immediately rebuke that particular individual right away. Do not wait to ask for somebody. Rebuke them right away. If anyone, whether it's a foreign journalist, whether it's a foreign whatever, tell them, rebuke them right away. Tell them straight, we are not secessionists. There is a clear difference between secessionists and people that are restoring their nations. That is the clear fact. Tell them straight away. I know many people will still say the secessionists, the secessionist spokesperson, the secessionist government, the secessionist. Rebuke that individual right away. Tell them we are restorationists. We are not secessionists. There's a great difference. That they're trying to implant words on us. We will rebuke that word and we will implant them the right word and let them use the right word at the right time. This has to be end. This has to end. This has to end. This has to end. Our people can no longer tolerate this. We are people can no longer be tolerant to this nonsense, this rubbish. Our people will no longer be tolerant to this rubbish. Our people will no longer be tolerant to this rubbish. If they ask you, because if each of them approach you and he mentions the word secessionist, rebuke them right away that we are restorationists. Because in 1960, when La Republic was voted, and in 1961, our people were voted, we cannot become a secessionist when these are two. Because when you find a communication minister of the neighboring country, La Republic, is comparing apple and apple. Because the northern province and the western province, Littoral, they are all apples that were found in 1960 at the United Nations. They all represent an apple. And we may not be one of the apples. We may be different. And that is why the difference that the stupid communication minister, will stand compare us with his own local tribe. With his own local tribe. because he's mentally deranged, because they are in that category that they don't accept the reality. But I am here to let you know you need to rebuke them right away when you see them. Don't even allow them to even extend, whether it's Al Jazeera, whether it's the BBC, whether it's Fox News, whatever it is, rebuke them right away and correct them. Tell them this is what it is. They need to understand and use the right words. They need to use the right words. They need to use the right words. Imagine that you were taking an exam. For those who have taken the exam here in the US and Great Britain, if the answer is wrong, are they going to accept it? They won't. No matter whether it's the 1 point that will make you to pass the exam, they will never give it you because they knew that it is wrong. And so therefore, we need to rebuke them when they are wrong and tell them exactly what it is. We will no longer be tolerant and romance this rubbish. I can imagine that the British Commonwealth Office is still asking La Republic, the British Common Office. It seems there's something wrong with the British Commonwealth Office. They should have immediately terminated the relationship with La Republic because it is because of the people of Southern Cameroon. You cannot imagine that at least 100,000 people are in Nigeria and they are dying each day because of either food poisoning, because of the condition of their living, because they left their own normal routine, good environment, because of an invasion of a foreign nation. And we are being described as a secessionists. No, we need to correct them right there. We are restorationists. That is the word we have in our mouth. That should be the word in our vocabulary. When you get up in the mid of the night, the first thing you think of, we are restorationists. That is we. That is who we are. And that is what we are stood for. That is what we are advocating. Because we are together in this business. We are together in this business. We are together in this business. You can imagine that a US missionary is killed and they frame the story and in a point of denial. We all know the Ghanaian missionary that was shot and killed by the neighboring country, La Republic, and yet they are still in a point of denial. And the US, Charles Wesco will soon be buried. I think the blood of Charles Wesco will haunt La Republic for the rest of the time until we will bury the entire La Republic system. I think the time, look, we have to take this battle to La Republic because this is what we must do with La Republic. We must block the entire route of La Republic. That's all iron, all those so the iron. If you have so the iron, you need to step out and start blocking every access route in La Republic. Because the military are the people that is helping La Republic. And so if we start giving them homework, because this is what we must do. We must block every access road to La Republic. If you have a junk car, take it straight to the road in La Republic. If you have any truck, wood, take it to La Republic. Block every access. Let the military start work. We need to put them back to work. This is, no. We will not be romancing with La Republic. Because the military, they think they are superior. But we will tell them that the citizens are more superior than La Republic military. I can assure you, La Republic, we will let them know that we are stronger than them. So if you see any iron, from tomorrow, I declare from tomorrow, every access road in La Republic needs to be blocked. If you have iron, take it straight to the road. If you are Francophone or Bamileke, be part of the system. Because we will no longer be tolerant to this. And if you Bamileke, the road is blocked. Wherever you are in Yaoundé, every street in Yaoundé needs to be completely shut down. Yes. Every street in Yaoundé, in Douala, completely shut down. every iron in the street, every whatever you got, every wreckage of truck, of car, whatever you find, all must be on the road, on the highway, because we need to shut the government completely. We need to ground the government to its knees. Yes. If you are doing sort of, whatever they call it, so those welding. If you are welding, get your instrument straight to the road. Every iron must be welded. All wood, block. We need to ground the Republic to a complete to its knees, because the military think they are so powerful, but they can never be powerful than the citizens. So this is the beginning of chaos in Yaoundé and Douala. This is what we must do, because the Republic thinks they have the guns, but unfortunately, the guns will never overthrow the people, because we are the best people in this earth. Those are people, the regime, they're 85 years old. They're halfway to their grave. They're about to die. They're about to die. And we have a long life to live on earth. And yet we have our people being destabilized by someone that is basically has no more value to the society. So if we don't ground them down and lead them to their graveyard, then they will lead us, the young generation. So the moment has just arrived. So tomorrow, every bridges, every road, everything should be disconnected. Every entrance, every route need to be completely blocked. Once they are removing, you are blocking ahead. Every corner, every junction, I will keep them on the daily duty. That is the beginning. Until their regime terminate their power. Because if we don't, then we are on the wrong side. This is just the beginning of the philosophy of completely eradicate the regime completely. This is the moment. We need to completely eradicate this regime, because they have already completed their life expectancy. They are basically worthless, but they want to tamper with our own life that we are still growing. So, but then we need to terminate them completely. So the iron to be on any highway. There should be no road, no circulation, completely grounded land republic completely. That is what we have to do. If you every route, whether it's going to the airport, wherever it is going, should be completely shut down immediately. If you have iron, if you are so the white, whatever you call so the iron or whatever, get your equipment. Make sure you 3 a.m. 3 a.m. all junk cars should be on the freeway. All junk trucks should be on the road. Anything you see, stone, iron, everything must be on Yaoundé Highway and Douala. Even in the cities, wherever they are, just get them to the street. Because we need to keep the military busy. Until they chase their out, then we will surrender. But if the military cannot chase their out of it today, then we need have homework. Then let's give them homework. That is what we must do. That is what we must do. We must chase their out of it today, so that we can build our terms of suppression. If you are not part of this momentum, then there's not going to be a time. So I am asking for those in Yaoundé, those in Etudi. If you live in Grand Nord, if you are in Northwestern Province, get the trees, get the iron, block every highway, solar everything, get everything there, because they don't have the equipment to quantify that they will be able to eliminate. So that is what we must do. Totally, completely shut down La Republique, entire the system, until that get out. Then we will not surrender. Because if we continue to languishing, then we have no way to go. But this is what we must do. Shut La Republique completely. Every iron on the freeway, every round must be completely shut down. Every tree on the freeway, every iron, every old truck. If you are a mechanic, allow them to take it to the highway, to the road, block every junction. We keep the military busy. When the military realize that they have a duty to take out beer, then we will allow them the freedom to drive on the freeway. This is what we must do. This is a lasting solution. This is a peace that we must take. This is the pathway that I dream. And I believe that we can chase beer out of Etudi. I deeply believe that there can be chased out of Etudi because we will no longer we have the strength. Our population is enormous. Our strength is enormous. Our defiance of them is historic. So we must chase La Republic out. If you are watching, make sure you share this information. Let everyone in La Republic. It's time to terminate La Republic. It's time because we need to put them into their where they belong. Because when we are romancing with the system, they believe that they have the power because they have guns. No, guns no longer works. Block every access road. Let them truck all those gas, those tear gas. Make sure you block everything. And if you have a way, destroy all the tanker. Block every highway because they cannot have exit out. Block every exit in and every exit out. Once you block it, they may not have access to even screw down. And once they get the thing down, this is what we must do until they relinquish power. And when they relinquish his power, then we can now start to build back from where we start. Because 35 years plus another 7 years for a mentally challenged people to rule people that are mentally stable. No, it doesn't happen in this year. This is the time he must go. By December, there must terminate his signature that I am gone. Let's. If you live in Littoral, if you live in Yaoundé, by 3 a.m., all trees must be on the road. Wherever you are, if you are in Littoral, if you are in Yaoundé, every iron should be on the freeway. Wherever you pick should be on the road, on the freeway. Because when they have access to drive their truck, they are able to pump water, they pump tear gas. But when we block them completely, they might not have exit out. Make sure every corner, every street, every environment is completely filled with iron. This is the plan. This is what must be done. That is the plan. That this La Republic must be completely shut down. Because if we are waiting for a nation to come in to assist, they might not. But we have the power to change, to make a difference. And that is what we begin by making those difference. That every iron must be on the road. If you can't lift it, call somebody because they are ready to lift the iron and block every freeway. Get your truck. If you just pull it and block every freeway. Every iron must be on the road. It's not only on the freeway. Every corner, every junction. We need to completely bring La Republic to a ground zero. No vehicle is moving. No vehicle is moving. We need to be more radicalized because if La Republic if they cannot recognize that they can leave power, then we need to force them to leave power. Yes. Yes. If they can't leave power peacefully, then we need to force them out. And we will never use a single gun to chase them out. Block every access. Because once the military can no longer, and every bank needs to be shut completely. That's what they have forgot. Every treasury needs to be completely shut down. Because the military, once they have access to money and they're able to eat, then they care less about you. So therefore, every treasury in La Republic needs to be completely grounded. Yes, every treasury department, every source of revenue to La Republic must be completely shut down until they leave. Because if they don't leave, they should be totally, completely shut down. Treasury, road, every asset should be completely come to a standstill. And that is where La Republic will know that the citizen will no longer be romancing with them. This is the plan. Immediately, all roads going to airports should be completely shut down. Every route, because very soon they will be looking for a way to fly and exit. But you begin by the airport, the road should be completely shut down. Because once they realize that there is no way, the first thing is they will be looking for exit out to fly to neighboring country to seek for refuge. No, we first will shut down completely the airport, and that they will not have any exit out. Then once the military turn the gun towards them, they will know where to get them because they will no longer find a way to exit. That is the beginning of the draconic philosophy. Destroy every access, the treasury, because that's where they have access to money that they feed themselves, and that is why they can use their gun and face the civilians. So we must shut the treasury completely down. Treasury shut down. Every access to the government should be shut down completely. That is the beginning of the philosophy. We must bring that La Republic to the ground need. That is the right thing to do. Completely shut down La Republic, completely shut down La Republic. Every ion, as you're listening, take the message to the road, share the message, share it within the Francophone. If you share the message to the Francophone, that tomorrow, beginning from tomorrow, is a completely shut down La Republic. The Treasury Department shut down, every financial institution shut down, every access road should be completely shut down. Because when we shut it down, the government will no longer have, the military will no longer have access to money. Because once they have access to money, they can keep in power. Once they cannot have their route to drive to a treasury to get money, they will begin to look where is beer. That is where the dynamic event change. So this is the beginning of the philosophy. This is the beginning of the philosophy. Because once the military can have access to money, then they care less about the civilians. Because the civilians doesn't even have access to food. And so if you begin by shutting down their own access, the Treasury Department, the banking institution, once you begin to shut down completely, terminate all roads, no access for them to drive around, then they will begin to realize that the time is scarce and that they need to chase there and that they need to begin to build a different nation that will become irrelevant. But if we don't do so, things is not going to get any better. Things gonna get worse. But however, the philosophy of completely ground La Republic, every treasury should be shut down completely. Treasury shut down. Every access road should be shut down. Every highway should be completely. It's not just only the freeway. Every access to so that they cannot penetrate and find their way into the highway. Every route. If you have iron, just send them on the freeway. Beginning tomorrow, 3 a.m. is the call time. Starting 3 a.m. I know what is the time now. It's 4:37. So it should be 11 o'clock. So 3 a.m. if you are awake. That is what we should. Every iron on the freeway, every iron on your neighborhood, there should be no movement. The car should be stationary. Every asset be stationary. There should be completely no movement in La Republic beginning tomorrow. Because once we tell them that citizens is more than the military think they are more than the citizens, then let's begin the war. Let's begin the war of madness. Because once we block them, they can't have access to their income. They can't have access to their revenue. They can't have access to feed their children. Then they will turn their guns inward and face who is the disturbances. This is the thing that we must begin by doing. I will continue to preach this philosophy. That's the philosophy of the people taking the government down, bring them completely grounded. Yes. Yes. So if you live in Littoral, the message is for you. If you live in Yaoundé, the message is for you. Begin by putting every iron be on the highway. Every old truck should be on the highway. Every neighborhood, all iron should be on the highway. Because let's keep the military busy. Because when they sit in their offices, they are playing cards to maintain beer. They sit in their office, they are playing draft. They sit in their compound and they are playing draft. Wherever they sit, they are playing because they are expecting the month end to go and get a paycheck. But when they can't find access to their paycheck, then they will begin by finding where is the government. Then they will realize that their citizens knew exactly what it is. And that because they be getting paycheck, now that they don't have a paycheck, they will start looking for who is blocking their paycheck. Now they will turn their gun and face the real person that is blocking their paycheck. But so long as they still having their paycheck, then we're not going to go nowhere. So tomorrow 3 a.m., every iron on the freeway, every iron should be on the freeway. This is the beginning of it, because they use their gun and shoot innocent citizens. But if we block them, that they cannot have access. For those in Bamenda, every iron should be on the freeway. In Chang, in wherever you are, Konsamba, wherever you are, every iron is on the freeway. The entire system should be completely grounded. Yes, the entire system should be completely grounded. Every freeway, if you live in Western Province, because police, they think they can come out and spray their tear gas. Every iron should be, there should be not too distant of 2-3 meters on the freeway. There should be absolutely no movement, completely grounded. Even the police cannot even drive. Ben Sekim block every asset, transport every iron on the freeway, so that it takes them 100 years to move all those irons. Every iron is on the freeway. Yes. Because when they sit in a 2D, they are eating their food. They don't care whether something happens. But once they can have food coming into a 2D, and the military will start asking them, are we doing the right thing? Because once you keep the military busy, they will chase out the enemy, because the enemy is mentally retarded. But the military thinks they can protect him. But we, the people, can tell them that we will no longer be succumbed to land public. So every iron on the freeway, all the mentals should be ready with their tools. Whether every iron, everything should be sold, everything. If it's the way, do whatever it takes, and that no vehicle should be moved. Then let's see how the military is going to use and pump tear gas. Because when they get up, they surround every quarter and duck people. So, but once you begin to strategize, then they will realize that they are on the wrong side of the game, and that the people mean business. So I will continue to advocate this philosophy wherever you are. Literal, the ball is your court. All the entire exit out and exit into the airport should be completely shut. Every iron beam must be on the freeway. Every iron, everything, because the military keep them busy. Keep them. So long as they keep La Republic, keep them in power, they keep them busy, that they have to pay for their budget. As they begin to remove the iron, make sure you are ahead, putting the same iron again. Shut the road completely. Cut every linkage. Because if you begin to destroy it, then they will realize that they have to give up power. Because without them being, because we need a tightly new generation to be able to lead. We don't need them because their period already expired. Their period already expired. So it's a different generation. Let them have access, because they cannot manage their own generation and they begin to manage the younger generation. They need to weigh out and allow the younger generation begin to build their own environment, because they did not succeed. Then the young generation must build what is necessary for their own current generation. And once they fade out, they should be able to hand over power without any fight and mission. So we will begin by blocking every highway. Every iron must be on the freeway. We are on operation iron on the freeway. Not only just the freeway, every road operation, they should be completely grounded. If you meet any iron, wherever you see it, it should be in dual on a road. That is the beginning of that philosophy. That is the beginning. That is the beginning. That is the beginning. Completely ground La Republic, completely. Because once you give the military what to do, then they will turn the gun inward and face who is the giver of the order. But so long power derived from the citizens. But when the citizens is in disarray, then they pull their power from whoever have that power. But they think they can use their gun, then we will use the local way. Then we use the local way. Then we see where we're gonna end. Via Moscow. It's time. Every iron on the freeway. Every vision must be on the freeway. Block completely. Shut down every iron. Every should be on the freeway. Those who are doing so, the iron should be ready, available. As they put the iron, just make the way to get everything. So let's keep. How many military do they have? They have how many military do they have? If there are over 17,000 military, entire police and army combined, then the citizens of how many millions? So if the citizens of how many millions get every iron on the freeway, on the road, how many military gonna pull out the iron? Then let them use their gun to the rightful person. Yes. That is the time. The time has come. 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 For those who are listening, make sure you send this message straight to La Republic. Share the message. That's what you must be doing. Share the message. That message is the philosophy moving forward. Share it. If they are not awake, get the message to them. Share the message. That is the beginning of the philosophy. Power from the people. People must. Herbie J, who's the member of the SJ? Herbie J, yeah, bring the power back to the people. All iron on the freeway. Every iron. Let's cut the entire system. So long they don't have access to movement, then they can no longer pump their tear gas. Because once you block every route, they can't even find their way. You block them, they cannot find exit out, exit in, and every iron on the freeway is completely shut down the system. Once you do that, then you keep them. They will turn their gun towards who is the actual enemy. This is the beginning of the philosophy. If you are in Western Province, when you get up, the first thing is to get the iron on the freeway. Every route, every junction, every place, tree, just fail it and just block the entire system. Completely ground the entire system. Once you ground the entire system, then we begin. I will be following up, make sure that the action is taking place. Because if the military cannot take him down, then we will take the military. And then they will have a choice to make those decisions. We will never use a crack of gun, but we use our own local system. Every tree, every iron should be on the road. They should be totally, completely shut down, ground the entire system completely. Because as they are moving the iron, we are applying more irons. Everywhere, every exit. If you leave every junction, make sure you fell the tree and block. That is the, from now, move henceforth. That is the operation. Blocking completely shut the entire system. Yes, completely. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. We're going to put malware. Yes. We put malware, just block every system so that they have access to none. Once we do that, then we ground the entire system. I will be following tomorrow. Check it out. I will follow, see what actually is taking place. Completely shut down La Republic, completely. Completely. Every iron, every tree, every stone, whatever you have, it should be on the road. Because once they cannot move their truck, the treasury, that's another source of revenue that they get, and they're able. All treasury should be immediately, there should be no treasury existed in La Republic. No treasury. completely. Or because once we break their source of revenue, we cut the source of oxygen, then they can no longer breathe. Then they will be searching for oxygen. Because once we cut the oxygen, then they have no source of oxygen. But once they have no source of oxygen, then they will begin to find where they can get an emergency oxygen. Then they will start finding who is in charge of the oxygen. But if we neglect it, they will appreciate. But we tell them we cut the source of oxygen. There should be no oxygen in La Republic. Yes, cut it off. Cut the oxygen. Every source of revenue that is coming to the military, Treasury Department completely shut down. Completely. All the completely shut down. Yes. That is the beginning. If they think of radicalism, then we will tell them that we are the worst that they ever think of. They think of. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are watching. That this is the beginning. This is the beginning. We're going to tell La Republic that they are playing with the wrong person. I wish you, I will follow up. Have a nice day. God bless you.